when you look at the crowds today, you have maybe 5,000-6,000 people here. On the streets yesterday, 1 million people, 1 million Iranians in the street for the Ayatollah Khomeini. Does that not give you concern? Does that not make you afraid?
Because they are afraid, yeah, that's right. And most of the people don't say anything because they are afraid. And they are in silence, you know, they don't say anything.
Is this the silent majority of Iran out here now?
Yes, that's right.
Do you want the Shah to return?
Yes, Shah, return to the country.
What about you, Shah? Why do you want the Shah? Why does she want the Shah?
ما شاه میخوایم ما بیچاره این
شاه کشتنش حلاله کجای قرآن گفته
47 years we've been bleeding in the dark, under the shadow of the Islamic regime, with a stone-cold heart. They silenced our voices, they turned off our light. 58 days without internet, but we still fought the night. Our children took the streets, they raised their empty hands, and the world looked away. Do you understand? Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? 42,000 lives, 2 days, that's all it took. Mothers and fathers and sons, did you even look? We stand with Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, our hope and voice. Millions behind him marching, he is our only choice. He only fights for freedom, democracy and human rights. But you mock him in your chambers while he fights for our lives, to pull us out of this darkness, this century-long night, while you sign deals with our killers and call it diplomatic right. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? They hang 60, 40 souls one by one, hanged within 4 months by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? What happened to you, Europe? What made you so cold? What turned your heart to stone? our story went untold. Is oil worth more than blood? Is silence worth the shame? Because while you negotiate with murderers, we are dying, calling your name. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? We are still here. We are still strong. Do you know Europe? How much longer? How much longer? How long? Do you know Europe?
To all of our friends around the world, under the yoke of the Islamic Republic, Iran is identified in your minds with terrorism, extremism, and poverty. The real Iran is a different Iran, a beautiful, peace-loving, and flourishing Iran. It is the Iran that existed before the Islamic Republic, and it is the Iran that will rise again from its ashes the day the Islamic Republic falls. So let me be clear about how a free Iran will act towards its neighbors and the world after the fall of this regime. In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. Support for terrorist groups will cease immediately. A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism. Iran will act as a friend and a stabilizing force in the region, and it will be a responsible partner in global security. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored. The State of Israel will be recognized immediately. We will pursue the expansion of the Abraham Accords into the Cyrus Accords, bringing together a free Iran, Israel, and the Arab world. A new chapter will begin, grounded in mutual recognition, sovereignty, and national interest. In energy, Iran holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. A free Iran will become a reliable energy supplier to the free world. Policymaking will be transparent. Iran's actions will be responsible. Prices will be predictable. In transparency and governance, Iran will adopt and enforce international standards. Money laundering will be confronted. Organized corruption will be dismantled. Public institutions will answer to the people. In the economy, Iran is one of the world's last great untapped markets. Our population is educated, modern, with a diaspora that connects it to the four corners of the world. A democratic Iran will open its economy to trade, investment, and innovation, and Iran will seek to invest in the world. Opportunity will replace isolation. This is not an abstract vision. It is a practical one, grounded in national interest, stability, and cooperation. To achieve this, now is the time to stand with the Iranian people. The fall of the Islamic Republic and the establishment of a secular, democratic government in Iran will not only restore dignity to my people, it will benefit the region and the world. A free Iran will be a force for peace, for prosperity, and for partnership.
وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته ایم قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه روبروم یه واژه یه هدف به نام انتقامه پشت سرم دعای مادر و تو دستم تفنگ بابامه رو زبونم اسم شاه بگین عشق بی انتهاست هر جا اسم ایران اومد اونجا صدای بچه رضاست فردا می نویسن تو کتاب قصه دیمار بگو با تیر جنگی کشتن بچه های بیگناه رو بگو از بخت مادرها چیر زنا و دخترامون بگو تنها شهید شدیم تا تنها نمونه شامون وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست
همه خسته ایم قبولم، ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما. سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه.
سلام من به تو یار قدیمی، منم همون هوادار قدیم.
سید سلام، چطوری مرد کلی کتلت شدین دایی بدون مدرک؟ سلام بسیجی قهرمان، رفتی پیش توسی با پنیر و یه نون سنگک. سلام به محفل قرآنیتون، سلام به مدیرای بحرانیتون، سلام به حاجی اکبر و طوله هاش و خارج و رفقای ارگانیتون، سلام به دزدای پول ملت که تش میفتین توی تور ملت. سلام به همه شما کرکسایی که دارین نونتون رو میزنین تو خون ملت، ساکتش زیر دست و پاک و تک بخورین، حالا هی به یه بادکنک بدوین. سلام آخر تو زندان باشه وقتی قرار بین آب خنک بخورین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. اینو بگذاریم به خاک میرسیم، تجزیه طلبی که به خاک بیرسیم. ایران مردمش وطن پرستن، از کرد تا بلوچ بری به فاک میرسی. توف به هر چی مرسی است، توف به هر کی در پی تجزیه است، توف به لوی و همونی که شیفته ی گل ملیگران تو وطن خدا نسلی هست. سر کردستان همه برپا شدن، بلوچستان فدای مهسا شدن. شم واحد که شیر و خورشید ما بقی جعلی ها تنها شدن. شادی باشه واسه همه در میهن، کور بشه چه شهرچی اهریمن. رخه رو بگی تا اون 6 کلاس سواد و خبرگان و مجد سری ترجیحن. شبهای عروس و دامادی باشه، برن سلامتی نوش کنن آبادی باشه. مقصد کجاست؟ میدون شهیاده به سمت اتوبان آزادی باشه. سلام به نسل ندید پدیدا، نبودیم ندیدیم قدیمتی ما. شاه بود تو شادی کل میزدین، حالا شاه بر میگرده پیک میزنین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا.
فاهنگ به این خوشگلی بانو آیده بود، اسم این عشقانه رو توش بیاریم، ولی خب لازم بود دیگه. فکر کنم بانو آیده.
Let's go. میخوام بگم از دلم، از عشق به این میهنم، به امید روز شکست دشمن شاه برمیگرده به وطن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی، بلند بگو همشهری شاه رضا پهلوی. نظام رسیده پرتگاه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه. برگشت شاه به میهن، دوای درد وطن. این آخرین نبرده، پهلوی برمیگرده. داره میاد پهلوی، زجه بزن سید علی. راه نجات وطن، پهلوی هموطن. ایران میشه گلستان، شاه که بیاد به ایران. ایران که شاه نداره، حساب کتاب نداره. آخون باید گم بشه، توپ تانک فشفشه. گم شو بیرون اجنبی، داره میاد پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن ها. ما شاه میخوایم نه ملا، بذار بشنوه دنیا. ایرانی داد بزن، شاه تو فریاد بزن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی. بلند بگو هموطن، شاه رضا پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه.
Look at us here today. We see so many flags representing so many nations. We know we are not alone, and we thank you for being with us. For all people around the world who stand today in unity with the Iranian people, this is not just because it's good for us, and you do it out of compassion and care for our rights to liberty and justice and equality and human rights. But understand that it is in your best interest too, to have, unlike this regime that has been propagating terror and radicalism, we the people of Iran are peacemakers and not warmongers. We like to be friends, especially with the free world. We'd like to be able to have the best neighborly relationship with the people of our area and the region, with the Arab countries, with Israel, and all our other neighbors. We are fighting for justice, we're fighting for human rights, we are fighting for liberty, we're fighting to put an end to all sorts of discrimination. Because as an Iranian, I stand here to tell you that I've dedicated 47 years of my life because I think that my country deserves far better than what we have right now. To now understand that their best remedy is to support the people of Iran, because ultimately a free Iran will be your best partner, not just to bring stability and peace, but it will be in your best economic interest and opportunities. Together we can prosper again, and the world will be so different once the Iranian people are free. I am here to guarantee a transition to secular democratic future. I am committed to be that leader of transition for you, so we can one day have the final opportunity to decide the fate of our country through a democratic, transparent process, through the ballot box and free elections. And let's make sure that this time, especially the free nations of this world and their governments, stand on the right side of history.
Well, Durud Patriots, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to day 186 of Iran Revolution Live. I'm just going to dive right into this. And before I begin, if you're watching in the live stream, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the video afterwards, let me know in the video comments below, because I'm always interested to know where and how big and how global our Iran Revolution Live community is. Well, guys, look at this. President Trump posted just a few hours ago, the Islamic Republic of Iran has asked us to continue talks. We have agreed to do so, but the United States has stated to them in no uncertain terms that the ceasefire is over. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Remember, I was explaining to all of you that just because President Trump says, sure, if they want to talk to us, I'll talk to them, but that doesn't mean that it's actually going to prevent him from engaging in boom booms and military strikes. In fact, President Trump now has sort of a play-by-play where he says, yeah, sure, okay, I'm willing to talk to them. Let's see what happens. And then 12 hours later, Khamenei was dead. This is why it's really important, right? And a lot of people who are commenting on geopolitics, they don't really get the analysis behind it, right? Just because you're talking to someone doesn't actually mean that you agree with them or you're legitimizing them, or you want to come to sort of surrender, like you want to surrender, anything like that, right? President Trump has made it very clear. Either the Islamic regime accepts the terms that he wants, right? And what are those? There's 5 main points. There's ending the nuclear program, allowing the United States to go in and remove all the enriched uranium, the nuclear dust. Number 3 is ending the ballistic missile program. Number 4 is ending funding for their terrorist proxy groups in the Middle East, like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, Hashd-e-Shabis, on and on. And number 5, of course, is reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The Islamic regime has refused to agree to any of those terms. And this entire time that this, these MOU talks were going back and forth, I found it absolutely wild that so many people were claiming that they had the leaked terms of the MOU, right? And who had leaked the terms of the MOU? The Islamic regime. The Islamic regime leaked the terms of the MOU, which was all in favor of the Islamic regime and pretty much the opposite of everything President Trump had said about, his five red lines. And for some reason, people believed it. It was actually getting, I'm not going to lie, it was getting a little bit tiring. Like, I was just getting sick and tired of people posting about, oh my gosh, look at the leaked MOU. This is the United States is surrendering. Yeah, really? Is really? Like, why would anyone trust anything the Islamic regime is saying? Remember, if their lips are moving, they're lying. Now, this is really interesting because some people are going to take this post and say, okay, well, if President Trump has agreed to continue talking, then obviously this is like a surrender, or, you know, like the United States is giving up, you know, President Trump is tired and he wants to like leave or whatever, right? But this is why you guys tune in to get my perspective, because I'm going to share with you once again what President Trump said on February 27. Let me pull it up. Okay? Let me pull this up for you. So, it was, here we go. Okay? So, this is President Trump. This is February 27. Okay? So this is literally about, 12 hours before Khamenei, the supreme dictator of the Islamic regime, was boom-boomed, along with 30 or 40 of his top IRGC commanders, and they were all, sent to hell where they belong. This is what President Trump said on February 28, about 12 hours before that strike.
How are the talks going with Iran? Are you happy with the progress?
No, I'm not. I'm not happy with the fact that they're not willing to give us what we have to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We're talking later.
See, okay, so I know the audio is low. Let me turn on the subtitles here. Sorry, guys. This is just the audio quality of the YouTube video. So I'll turn on the subtitles so you guys can follow along.
How are the talks going with Iran? Are you happy with the progress?
No, I'm not. I'm not happy with the fact that they're not willing to give us what we have to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We're talking later. We'll have some additional talks today. But no, I'm not happy with the way they go.
Are you concerned at all about President Bill Clinton being deposed, and that sets precedent for you and your family?
I don't like seeing him deposed, but, they certainly went after me a lot more.
Anyways, so that was just the beginning part, right? So President Trump says, I'm not happy with the fact that they're not willing to give us what we have, agreed to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We are talking later. We'll have some additional talks today. But no, I'm not happy with the way it's going. Okay, so President Trump literally says, yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. But I mean, sure, they want to talk, so we'll talk. Right? And a lot of people thought, including the Islamic regime, including Khamenei, they made the mistake of assuming that if President Trump says, we're going to talk later, let's see what happens, that means they're not going to boom boom. But just the way President Trump is speaking here, his stance, his posture, everything, now that we're looking at this, hindsight is 20/20, right? But looking at this, looking at the way he's speaking, his responses, it's pretty much as if he's already made up his mind. Like I have a feeling that at this point here, President Trump had already made up his mind to boom boom Khamenei, right? So his mind was already made up. That's what I'm seeing here. Obviously, no one could really tell at the time, but if you guys recall, on February 27, I was actually posting about this. And on February 27, I was like, guys, I think it's going to be a very long weekend. I feel like something is up. I feel like something is going to happen. And my Goldie radar was on point, because a few hours later, we got the news of Khamenei being exterminated. In fact, Petito called me. Like as soon as the news broke in occupied Iran, Petito literally called me. I think it was like 1:30 a.m. And yeah. So this is February 27. So I want you guys to keep this in mind. So going back to his post from today, agreeing to speak is not the same thing as not boom booming them, right? So he's made it very clear that the ceasefire is over. Now, has war resumed? Well, no, because it's not technically a war. If he was going to call it a war, there are legal implications with that, with, Congress and things like that. And that's why all of these boom booms that are happening, those are in response to initial attacks by the IRGC. Okay? So that's not really a war. If you're, saying that this is defensive or retaliatory, then that's not really a war. You're just responding to an act of aggression in order to minimize that act of aggression. And President Trump said that every time they strike one, he's going to strike them back at least 20 times. So there you go. Now, what is happening with Iran? Let's just go to the breaking news in occupied Iran really quickly. And because I just want to see if there's any late breaking stuff, because if there are actually boom booms, then that literally proves my point, right? So let's go to my favorite OSINT account, Shin, and let's see what is happening here. So wow, okay. So this is all new. Yeah, this is all new. Okay. So there was, here, let me just show this really quick. So there was short AA activity northeastern Tehran right now. And then, okay, so this is Hamas. Great job, IDF. Shout out to IDF for destroying Hamas tunnels. Really happy for you guys. Russia's Moscow oil refinery is on fire. That's strange. All right, okay, here you go. Here we go. So today's satellite imagery shows two apparent hits on runway 13R and 31L at Bushehr Airport in Iran following the recent US strikes. Bird marks are also visible around the runways. So let me just make this bigger. So this is Bushehr Airport. Bushehr is one of the, port cities. It's on the, Persian Gulf area. So this is the runway before. And then this is the runway after. It's hard to see, but apparently there's two darker spots there. There you go. So that's those are targeted attacks by the United States against IRGC military assets in Bushehr. And then oh my gosh, Pakistan is urging Iran and the United States to exercise restraint, right? Okay, Pakistan is literally in a war with Afghanistan right now, and Pakistan almost began a nuclear war with India until President Trump stepped in and resolved that, right? So yeah, I agree with Shin. Pakistan urging countries to exercise restraint is incredibly ridiculous to hear. Okay, so now there's a fire at a petrochemical refinery. Treasury targets Iranian Supreme Leader financier Ali Ansari and three major exchange houses moving billions annually for sanctioned banks following Iran's renewed attacks on Strait of Hormuz shipping. Good. And that's the other thing. This entire time that the, MOU has been negotiated, Operation Economic Fury has been ongoing, right? This entire time, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was continuing with Operation Economic Fury and continuing to sanction and target their bank accounts, right? So that's basically what we have so far. However, at the same time, we have to remember it's only 10:45 p.m. In occupied Iran right now. So I'm assuming if boom booms or something is going to be happening, they're probably going to be happening maybe around this time, maybe a little bit later. And then even when it does happen, it takes some time for footage to come out and be shared with the rest of us. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that breaking news. But of course, I will also have the latest breaking news on my evening edition of the Goldie Show. So you can keep an eye out on that for later this evening. Now, I just wanted to go back to President Trump's Truth Social, because again, one of the things I've explained is that whenever a politician just posts a video or something, a link to a media article, they want their followers to watch that and pay attention to that, right? So President Trump posted this video from Fox Business about a couple hours ago. I haven't watched it yet because I wanted to watch it with you guys. So let's see what President Trump wants us and the rest of the world to know.
Israel has warned the United States that Iran hatched a plot to assassinate President Trump. KT McFarland joins me now. KT, they're huge posters now. We're not even going to show them, but they're huge posters all over Tehran calling for Trump's death, one offering a reward for his killing. How should we respond to this? This is really direct now, like it never has been before.
I've worked for 4 presidents, and they've always, assassination attempts come with the job. I even worked for Reagan when he almost died from an assassination attempt. But President Trump he's really fatalistic about it, and he's not fazed by it. And even when he was in Ankara, Turkey, he said, look, it comes with the job. They've tried. I'm the #1 target of any assassin in the world. And so he's in a very unique position. Not only is it the Trump derangement syndrome American potential assassins, but it's now coming from Iran, from the country of Iran. I just think, what do you do about it? You make sure that the government of Iran going forward, whatever the deal is, whenever the deal is, can police its own. And you also make sure that the Secret Service is just as good as it can be.
Okay, so this is right away. She makes a very big mistake here. She says we have to make sure that the government can police its own. It's the Islamic regime itself that is printing the posters and putting up the posters and creating the banners, right? This isn't like these death threats and these posters. It's not like just some random Durkas who are just spending their own money. It's the Islamic regime itself that is spending money that should be going to the Iranian people. Instead, they're wasting millions of US dollars to print these giant posters and, have all these festivities, which is a weird way of, I don't even know what to call it. They have like this weird freak show where all they're doing is they're like yelling Allahu Akbar, death to America, and they're calling for President Trump's assassination. So I have to respectfully correct her on this part here, because you can't expect the Islamic regime to police the terrorists when the Islamic regime is the terrorist, right? So as long as the Islamic regime is in power, these threats and this abhorrent behavior will continue, because this is who they are. This is who they are.
Whenever the deal is, can police its own. And you also make sure that the Secret Service is just as good as it can be, and you continue to have a strong relationship with Israeli intelligence, because they're the best in the world.
God bless them. I mean, if it had, for all those people who dump on Israel, of course, a lot of them don't care about Donald Trump, but the fact is that it was that Israeli intelligence, apparently, that prevented this attack or prevented the execution of it. And
remember when a few weeks ago people were criticizing President Trump and being like, why is he attacking Israel? He's throwing Israel under the bus, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, guys, calm down. Calm down. Look at this. President Trump is literally posting this Fox News video where the news anchors are praising Israel and they're saying thank God for Israel, and thank God the United States and Israel have such a strong relationship, and that this strong relationship must be maintained. And then some people were still attacking President Trump and claiming that, he's throwing Israel under the bus. Right? This is a video that President Trump posted. Remember, when politicians post news media articles and they don't comment on it, they just post it, that means they inherently agree with it.
Israeli intelligence, because they're the best in the world.
God bless them. I mean, if it had, for all those people who dump on Israel, of course, a lot of them don't care about Donald Trump. But the fact is that it was that Israeli intelligence, apparently, that prevented this attack or prevented the execution of it. And that's really a good ally when they can help prevent an assassination. Meanwhile, you do have, despite all this, you have the idea of the talks continuing. And there does seem to be a tension now in the White House between VP Vance, who we know is pushing for more negotiations, and Secretary of State Rubio, who says enough is enough.
Wow. Okay, guys. So we had spoken about this. We talked about the rumors about how, supposedly JD Vance wants to push for talks and Marco Rubio wants to destroy them, wants to boom them, right? We'd kind of spoken about that, but it was just sort of like, it was like more rumors or things like that, right? It was just like, okay, this is what we think is going on. The fact that President Trump is posting this video where this news reporter is now openly speaking about this tension between JD Vance and Marco Rubio, that's pretty much President Trump confirming and saying that, yes, this is exactly what's happening behind the scenes. President Trump just confirmed the rumors. President Trump is now using this Fox News report to spill the tea about what him and his administration are discussing behind closed doors. And now it's out in the open. So now we can 100% say and confirm that JD Vance has always wanted to push for negotiations, and Marco Rubio has always wanted to exterminate the Islamic regime. Like, he's now confirming these rumors. Wow.
Does seem to be a tension now in the White House. You have the meanwhile, you do have, despite all this, you have the idea of the talks continuing, and there does seem to be a tension now in the White House between VP Vance, who we know is pushing for more negotiations, and Secretary of State Rubio, who says enough is enough, which is what Donald Trump seemed to be saying in the middle of the week, in the beginning of the week. Is Trump using this as kind of a good cop, bad cop negotiating tool?
Yeah, I mean, Trump likes to listen to all people, but Trump is the only guy. He's a decider in chief. He makes the decisions. Yeah. And even if nobody recommends a decision, he'll take it. What I thought was really interesting, David, is what Lauren was just saying about the price of oil. Watch how the negotiations have affected the price of oil. So before the war, it was about $70 a barrel. When the war starts, it goes up to about $120 a barrel. And that was putting a lot of pressure on the world economy, on gasoline prices in the United States, et cetera. Then you have this ceasefire, and price of oil goes way back down to about 70. And now where are we? What did Lauren just say? $76 a barrel today?
No. $72 a barrel.
Okay, $72 a barrel, 76 yesterday. So despite the fact that we're back at war, and despite the fact that President Trump has said we're going to hit him hard, et cetera, and we are hitting them hard, oil is not the leverage and the blackmail that Iran had before. Right. Why is that? Because in the period of the ceasefire, a number of countries have started buying American, right? They've been buying oil from Alaska, from the Gulf of America, and American crude oil exports have gone up 30% just since the war began. The other thing is that the Middle East allies, the Saudis, UAE especially, Iraq, they're building pipelines and fast-tracking those pipelines. So with every day, Iran's ability to blackmail the world with the Strait of Hormuz goes down.
KT, you worked with the great Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Kissinger always was hoping, I think one of his dreams was that eventually there would be some kind of deal between Israel and the Arab countries that would kind of isolate Iran, put Iran in a pocket. It seems that Donald Trump, through the Abraham Accords, has worked this out, or at least that we have the basis for all of that working out. And these tensions now with Iran are the final proof of that, because you see the UAE leaving OPEC, et cetera. It seems like things are working in the direction that even Kissinger wanted to go for.
It's in the fullness of time, it's taken a long time.
It has.
But if you had said that you would have a situation where the United States and Israel and the Gulf Arab countries were working together, fighting together, not just trading, but fighting together against Iran, nobody would have believed you.
Right.
And yet that's the new Middle East. I think that the whole Iran war, as important as it is and important as Iran's nuclear weapons and getting rid of them was, the end result of this is a complete change of the chessboard in the Middle East.
No,
we now have a lot of really close friends and allies, and that's the big takeaway.
These are historic times, really historic times. Things that have been happening for 40, 50 years are beginning to change now. Great to see you, KT. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
There you go. So, President Trump pretty much confirming that J.D. Vance supports negotiations and Marco Rubio supports boom booms. I mean, I'm on. I have to support Marco Rubio on this one, because Marco Rubio understands how to deal with these communist dictatorships, right? These totalitarian regimes, is to exterminate them. That's literally the only way to deal with them. And Marco Rubio understands that very well, because he's experienced that, and his family has experienced that. When it comes to the Cuban regime. Okay. So now, what are some of these Durkas, some of these Islamic regime terrorists? What are they actually saying about President Trump? I've shared a few of this, but just to make sure that no one thinks we're exaggerating. Okay. Now, this is an Islamic regime Durka jihadi, and he is urging the Islamic regime to avenge Khamenei's death, essentially calling for President Trump's assassination. So the video has subtitles, so just follow along with the English captions. They're chanting Intiram. So they're just like Intiram, Intiram. So Intiram means revenge. So it's like all these people are in this like mosque or shrine or wherever, some Hosseini, and they're all basically chanting like revenge, 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 like a bunch of zombies, right?
این انتقام چیست؟ چرا این فریاد بزرگ رو ملت ما بیان میکنه؟ ملت دفاع از حقوق خودش رو میخواد.
Oh, guys, you know who this is? I totally forgot. Guys, this is guys, pull up your boom boom bingo sheets. Pull up your boom boom bingo sheets, guys. That's Jalili. So remember, he is from a different faction, right? So there's different factions, right? There's like the Vahidi supporters, there's the Ghalibaf and Ghalibaf supporters, there's like the Beit Rahbari, and then there's the Paidari camp. Remember? That's Jalili. That's this guy here. So he's like a top level Durka who's also vying for power and control. So guys, not a new character unlocked, but we've spoken quite a bit about Jalili, but I don't think I've shown too many videos from him. So here you go. Now this is Jalili. So another, look at this. Look at the skid mark, guys. Look at the skid mark. Yeah, someone mentioned it. Chris, Good call on that. Yeah. You see the skid mark on his forehead? That's how you can tell that he's like an insane Durka, right? It almost looks like it's like dented. It almost looks like I don't know. It's got like a dent in his forehead with the skid mark, right? But there you go. So yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, you guys are so smart. You guys are so smart. Yeah, absolutely. Remember, any Durka with a skid mark on their forehead, that means they're like even crazier than the rest, right? So there you go. There you go. But let's go back to Jalili. So this is Jalili, and then he's like speaking at a podium, and then everyone's like revenge, 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 and then now he's gonna talk. So just follow along the subtitles. Oh wait, someone is asking when was this from? So this is from today. This was posted today. No, we have like I have not received news of Jalili's death, but if I hear anything, I'll let you know. But this is from today. Like, well, Iran International posted this today, so this is either footage from today or maybe yesterday. But this is like breaking. This is like the latest. So this is, guys, this is not like a few weeks ago or a month ago or a year ago. This is literally within the last 24 hours, right? So, when President Trump is saying, and you're seeing Fox News saying that the Islamic regime supporters are calling for revenge and for President Trump's assassination. Here's an example of that, right? From the last 24 hours. Okay.
این انتقام چیست؟ چرا این فریاد بزرگ رو ملت ما بیان می‌کنه؟ ملت دفاع از حقوق خودش رو میخواد. اگر شما میگویید ما باید فلان حقوقمون بکنیم، اموالمون آزاد کنیم، بزرگترین دارایی ملت ما رهبری عزیزش بود.
Well, I mean, if your greatest asset was your Muslim pedophile leader, then I'm glad that your Muslim pedophile leader was taken away from you.
امروز حق این ملت دفاع از این جایگاه، از این سرمایه بزرگ با انتقام است و وظیفه مسئولین پیگیری اینه. انتقام حق ملت و وظیفه مسئولینه.
Ah, yes. Very, very peaceful. Jalili, this Durka here, this one, he is now saying that revenge is the nation's right and the authorities' duty. Remember, he's a top politician, right? Politician. He's a top Islamic regime official within the IRGC. So, let's see here. All right. Okay. I'll just hold off. I see that we have a Rumble rant. Thank you so much for letting me know, guys. I'm going to okay, it's pinned. Perfect. So the Rumble rant is pinned. So when we get to the super chats and the questions and comments, I will make sure to respond to that one as well. Thank you guys for letting me know. Really appreciate that. Okay, so there you go. There's Jalili saying that it is basically the duty and responsibility of all the Durka Muslims to assassinate President Trump. Now, don't know if this is true or not. We are waiting for more verified media outlets. However, supposedly, reports of explosions in IRGC and intelligence buildings in, what is that? Ghamari. Several local reports have been published of hearing explosion sounds and the targeting of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps buildings and the intelligence department in Ghamari, Mazandaran province, which were located adjacent to each other. So if I pull this up on Google Maps for you guys, just to give you an idea of where Ghamari is, okay, it's going to be in the western part. sorry, the eastern part. It's going to be more in the eastern part of Iran. So let me just zoom out here. There we go. So this is Iran. Remember, this is the kitty cat. That's the head. That's the ears. This is Tehran. Ghamari is here. Ghamari, right there. Okay, so it's pretty much close to the Caspian Sea. And remember, this is all the Hyrcanian forests, right? So the forest that's between 25 million to 50 million years old. That's sort of the area that it's all in. So there you go. A new city unlocked. And guys, look how small it is. Like Ghamari is not a big place, right? Like this is it. This is it for Ghamari. So it's not a very, very big area, right? Like, I mean, if I was gonna like go from here to, I don't know, like here. I don't know how to do this. Anyways, it's not a big place. It's not a big place. It's pretty small, right? So still waiting for confirmation, but supposedly, there have been explosions heard for tonight. So we'll keep an eye about that. Oh. So, ew, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so, this is such a gross clip, but I'm not going to share it, but, ugh. It's that Marandi Chanandi guy. Remember the disgusting man that I called out on Piers Morgan back in January? Like, he's still like a regular on Piers Morgan. And apparently now Piers Morgan is speaking to him about, you know, what do the Iranian people, right? Because he never says the Islamic regime. What do the Iranian people mean when they say death to America, death to President Trump? And then Marandi is basically trying to like explain it as if, oh, we just mean, you know, death to the policies and death to the, I don't know, whatever, right? So I'm not going to play this because it's just absolute utter garbage, but it's on my radar. Just disgusting people. And look, we have a new post from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And remember, I spoke earlier in the live stream about how Operation Economic Fury has been continuing and is continuing, right? So he says the so-called supreme leader is hiding in seclusion while his regime crumbles. He's talking about the cardboard one, right? He's talking about this one right now, the cardboard one that we don't know if he's alive or dead. So he says the so-called let's go back. The so-called supreme leader is hiding in seclusion while his regime crumbles. Treasury will continue using every tool at its disposal to isolate him and other regime elites from the global financial system. We will guys, this is the important part. We will preserve these assets for the Iranian people. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Do you know what this means? If I had to make a guess, I would say that the US administration is preparing for regime change in Iran. They're preparing for regime change. Because the only way these frozen assets can actually get to the Iranian people is through the government, right? It's not like the United States is just gonna like say to Iranians, hey, give me like your Venmo or your Cash App and we'll wire X amount of dollars into every single Iranian's bank account. That's not how this works, right? So he's saying we will preserve these assets for the Iranian people, which means that the United States is anticipating that at some point down the road in the future, the United States expects that the regime will be overthrown and the Iranian people will reclaim the country of Iran. And he's saying when that happens, we will give all of this money to the Iranian people through their new government. Cheers. It's just another piece of the puzzle coming together. And this is what I've always said, guys. I've always said, everyone has been focusing on the military operations and the negotiations. But a lot of people have forgotten about Operation Economic Fury and all the things that Scott Bessent has been doing, right? So the fact that he's saying we will preserve these assets for the Iranian people, that's basically confirmation, right? That's confirmation that the United States is anticipating something to happen, right? And remember, guys, regime change is not the responsibility of the United States. Ultimately, it's the Iranian people who will have to rise up and take over their country. But remember what President Trump said. President Trump said that when the United States is done with the Islamic regime, the Iranian people will have a chance to rise up and overthrow the government, their oppressors, right? United States is still not done. The United States is certainly still not done. And remember, President Trump said this, and I shared this last night. President Trump said, how are they supposed to rise up when they're unarmed? The last time the Iranian people tried to rise up, 54,000 were killed in 10 hours. So how are the unarmed Iranian people supposed to rise up when every single time they do so, they're brutally murdered by the Islamic regime? So if you're wondering why Iranian people haven't risen up yet, it's because the conditions are not yet right. But I guarantee you, I promise you, as soon as the conditions are correct, the Iranian people will rise up. Everyone's waiting for that moment. Like, everyone's pretty much preparing and getting ready for all of that, right? So I like this is like music to my ears, right? And there's a lot of money. We're talking like $100 billion at least. And that's the thing I want to stress, right? It's not like when the Iranian people, when they overthrow the Islamic regime and reclaim the country, that doesn't mean Iran's going to be like a charity case and we need to send like money to the Iranian people. No. Iran is a very rich country. However, the Islamic regime has been taking all the billions of dollars for themselves, and they're using it to line their own pockets, buy $100 million apartments in, London and around the world. Their children live lavish, expensive lifestyles in Western countries. And they also fund their terrorist groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and others, right? So the reason that the Iranian people are poor is not because the country is poor. It's because the Islamic regime has been stealing all of the resources, and they don't invest at all in the Iranian people. So the poverty of the Iranian people lies at the hands of the Islamic regime. And keep in mind, this is the other thing I want to point out. A lot of people are like, oh, well, the Iranian people are poor because of the economic sanctions. Well, they haven't actually bothered to go read the economic sanctions and see what the sanctions are all about. The sanctions are military sanctions, okay? And yet, this is what I always say to these people. Anyone who's like, oh no, it's the fault of the United States that Iranians are poor. It's because the United States imposed economic sanctions on them. Oh, really? If Iran is so poor because of the United States, then how did the Islamic regime come up with, what was it, $3 trillion to build 3 underground nuclear missile nuclear bomb facilities. How much was that, by the way? Was that 3 billion or 3 trillion? I can't remember. It was like an insane amount. Let me see. Here. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, 2 trillion. 2 trillion. So it was I was right. It was 2 trillion. So if the Iranian people are poor because of US sanctions, how is it that the Islamic regime spent 2 trillion American dollars to build 3 underground nuclear facilities, right? Do you see the hypocrisy there? That $3 trillion, $3 trillion could have gone to the Iranian people. Instead, the Islamic regime used it to build underground nuclear facilities. So, no, guys, Iran is not a poor country. And that's the other thing. Like, throughout this entire time, you've never seen any sort of like, sorry, you've never seen any sort of like mass campaign for, oh, like, here's a charity so we can send money to the Iranian people, or I don't know, like, oh, we need to mass import Iranians, right? Like every time there's like, every time the Durkas go after one another, like in Syria or, Gaza or wherever, all of a sudden there's like this mass importing of these people into Western countries. And then they come and they take over, right? Do you know why you're not seeing that same sort of similar campaign? Because Iranians are actually fighting to liberate their country. Iranians are proud of their country. They're fighting the occupiers, the oppressors, right? And right now, 10% of the Iranian population lives outside of occupied Iran. 90% of that is not by choice. 90% of that is because of escaping the Islamic regime, right? And I guarantee you that as soon as Iran is free, you're going to see one of the largest brain drains in modern history. Because at least 90% of the Iranians who live around the world, maybe not 90%, but at least I would say 50%. So we're talking about at least like 5 million people. At least 5 million Iranians will immediately go back to Iran to help rebuild the country. I mean, we're talking doctors, lawyers, engineers, people in the health professions, in the sciences, in politics, law, like whatever you can think of. Everyone pretty much will want to go back to help rebuild Iran. And the reason that the Islamic regime is fighting so hard to remain in power to the point where they're literally mass slaughtering 54,000 people, over 54,000 people in 2 days alone, is because the Islamic regime has been using Iran as a cash cow to fuel their jihad and terrorism. So of course they don't want to give that up. They don't want to give up their ATM, right? Are people asking, will I go? Yeah, I probably would. I don't know if I would stay there, like live there permanently, although I don't know, with the way things are going in Canada, like who knows. But as soon as Iran is free, would I go back? 100%. Absolutely. I would go back to try and help, rebuild the country. I mean, whatever I can do to, help and contribute. Absolutely. I will definitely be going back to help rebuild. It would so here's a message from an Iranian. He's like, امیدوارم یه روز بیایی از نزدیک ببینمت. Thank you. So he's saying, I hope that one day you come so I can see you in person. منم همینطور. منم میدونم این روز خیلی نزدیکه. So guys, don't ask me about what other Iranians think or do, or whether they're going to go back. I can't answer for anyone else. I can only speak for myself. And as soon as Iran is free, I'm definitely going back. I don't know if I would live there permanently. I mean, who knows? I can't say that, but would I go back to help contribute towards the rebuilding of the country after 47 years of Islamic occupation? 100%. 100%. And again, like there's no need for charity or, money from NGOs or other organizations because the country is very resource rich. However, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, he has already been speaking with a lot of businesses, right? And so one of the things that is going to be, I think, amazing is tapping into Iran's economy, because the Iranian economy, it's worth about $1 trillion. So you have $1 trillion worth of an untapped economy. So I can totally see, like, when the country stabilizes, like I would love to see, I don't know, like companies like Google and Tesla and like all these like science and research companies, right? Start investing and, building, building plants there or whatever. We had that. You know that prior to 1979, a lot of like American and Western companies, they actually had plants and factories in Iran. Let me show you one. So, come on, I want to open up the image. Here we go. Here we go. Where is it? Why is it so tiny? Okay. All right. This isn't working. However, so guys, this is gonna blow your wait. 2C is live. Okay. If 2C is live, then I guess we'll have to go to 2C because he probably has. Is it about Iran? Let's see here. Where am I? Why can't I not think? Is he live? All right. If he's live. No, okay, he's live, but that's not about Iran. So it's Moroccan. Oh my gosh. Moroccan migrants launch attack on European cities. Oh wow. I guess it's because Morocco lost to France. Ugh. Awkward. Anyway, so yeah, okay, so it's not about Iran. So I'm not gonna tune in because it's not about Iran, but I will definitely be watching that one later because ugh, these people are crazy, right? Absolute insane. Okay, anyway, so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. So a lot of factories actually invested in Iran prior to like companies, right? So here's one. This is one of my favorite examples, okay? Canada Dry opens Iran plant. This is an article from December 15, 1957, okay? So, the December 15, 1957 edition of the New York Times had an article that was called Canada Dry Opens Iran Plant. So, Canada Dry International announced last week the establishment of its first plant in Iran, near the Tehran airport. Investment in plant and equipment was in excess of $300,000. The new unit is the second for the company in the Middle East. The first was recently opened at Bahrain on the Persian Gulf. A third is under construction in Lebanon. So just, one example of, the numerous companies that invested in Iran prior to 1979, right? Prior to the Islamic takeover. And then when the Islamic regime took over, they kicked everyone out and they basically have like full control of the economy because it's a totalitarian dictatorship, right? So guys, listen, Iran's past is literally her future. So, you look at stuff like this, and this is what we are fighting for Iran's future. So everything that we are fighting for a free Iran, it's nothing new. We're basically fighting to go back to what we had prior to 1979. I think there was also there was Coca-Cola for sure. I know for sure there was a Coca-Cola plant. I don't know, probably Pepsi, I have no idea. But like Iran is a very resource rich country. So yes, a lot of companies will certainly want to invest in Iran when Iran is free, right? So we're not talking about like some third world whatever place, right? And again, this is why the Muslim Nazi occupiers don't want to let go. They don't want to let go because they've gotten fat off of the stolen money of the Iranian people, right? I mean, I can see if there was let's see. So Pepsi, yeah, Pepsi. Habib Sabit, an Iranian businessman, first acquired the rights to bottle Pepsi in Iran in 1955. This is what Iranian Pepsi looks like. So let me pull this up. Open image in new tab. Here we go. So this is Pepsi. This is the letter P. So this little squiggly line with the 3 dots under it, that's the letter P. And then this is another P. And then this here, this is the S. And then that's the Y. No, I mean Pepsi. Guys, we Iranians, we have the letter P. You're mistaking us with the Arabic language. The Arabic language doesn't have the letter P, but we have the letter P. Guys, we literally say Parsi. Like P, we have the letter P. This is how Pepsi is spelt in Persian. So, yeah. It's the letter. So there's four letters or sounds, I guess, that don't exist in Arabic. The letter P, I think a hard G. So the hard G, the G, that doesn't exist. Che, which is like the sound CH. And then there's one more. Z, I think. I can't remember. But then remember, guys, there are certain sounds that you guys don't have in English, right? So you can't make fun of other languages because you guys also, yeah, P, G, J. That's what it is. J, J, J. Yeah, okay, you're right, sorry. It's J. So I got 3 of the 4. So the 4 letters that don't exist in the Arabic language are, so the first one is P. And guys, remember, so in Persian, we read right to left, just like in Hebrew. So you know how Hebrew, they read right to left. English is left to right. But so the first letter on the right, that is P. And then the next one is G, a hard G, the sound G. And then there's J. J is basically like I guess a soft J. A soft J, J. And then the last one is Ch, which is CH, but for us it's one letter. So these are the 4 sounds that don't exist in Arabic. Yeah, Newton, you know what? Your Persian writing is 100% accurate. Like I can totally read that right now. So it's really obvious that Newton, you wrote Durud Ham Mihans. So your Persian writing is very, very, very on point. Doing a great job there. So this is Pepsi. And the vowels aren't there because we actually don't write vowels for whatever reason. We don't write vowels. We just have to guess. So for myself and some others who have not been raised in Iran, sometimes we guess because we like, I look at the words and I'm like, I know what the sounds are, but what are the vowels, right? But so this says Pepsi dar lahze zindagi kon, which basically means live in the moment. Live in the moment, basically. So yeah, that's Pepsi. Although, guys, I'm pretty sure this is like counterfeit, right? So this is not like an authentic original Pepsi product. Prior to 1979, there were, authentic Pepsi products, but after 1979, basically what they did is just kind of continued importing the liquid concentrate mix, but then they now like bottle it under other names or something. So there you go. But all that to say, so going back to what Scott Bessent was talking about, yeah, there's a lot of money, and that's one of the reasons why the Islamic regime doesn't want to give up its occupation, because it doesn't want to lose the money that should be going to the Iranian people. So Farsi. So okay. So a little interesting fact about that: the original name of our language is Parsi. Because the Arabs don't have the letter P, when the Arab Muslim invasion of Persia happened in 650 AD, they said, they called everything with a P F. So they changed it to Farsi. And then another interesting thing is that the Arabic word for the sound that like a dog makes when it's barking, they now say that like the dog is like well, not the Arabic word, but so basically what happened is they changed all of these words from P to F. Okay, so the original is actually Parsi, but the Arab invaders changed it to Farsi. And then on top of that, they created a new meaning for the word Pars, because Pars, it symbolizes Persia and Persepolis and, the Persian language and all these things, right? So they basically started using Pars for the sound that a dog makes when it's barking. So now, a lot of Iranians will use the word Pars. They'll say like, how you say like a dog barks? So in Persian, it's sage dare pars mikone. The origins from that is when the Arab Muslim invaders, to discourage Iranians from speaking Persian when they were occupying Iran back in 650 AD, they equated the Persian language with the sound of a dog barking. And of course, in the Arab Muslim culture, they don't like dogs. So that was a way to insult the Iranians that they had conquered, and also basically make everyone speak Arabic. And so they tried that for 2 centuries. Of course, it didn't work. We got our language back, but there's a lot of like renaissance and revival, right? Like there's a lot of things about our language that we are slowly starting to relearn, things that the Islamic regime has been, wanted us to not learn. Basically, there's been like the Islamic regime has engaged in a lot of historical revisionism. So there you go. So that's why they say that. All right, little bit of history lesson, but I hope that gives you kind of a good breakdown of sort of the economy and why Iran is basically like the jewel of the Middle East. Now, I try to avoid speaking about Mamdani because, I feel like Mamdani is just so utterly irrelevant. And, he's basically just like a jihadi communist invader But this one is really bothering me. Like, why does the mayor of New York feel the need to meet with the representative of the Islamic regime that is literally calling for the death of President Trump? Like, guys, he's not even hiding the fact. He's not even hiding the fact that he's literally a jihadi invader. Right? His level of politics isn't even at the level where it makes sense to meet with foreign people, right? Like, he is the mayor. Like, he should be focusing on potholes and funding the police. Like, why in the Allahu Akbar jihad is Mamdani meeting with the representative of the Islamic regime? Like, it's just absolutely, Marco Rubio here calls him out. So let's watch this video.
Okay. On the other hand, Iran likes to sponsor proxy groups of terrorists. And these terrorists don't care what they blow up. They blow up anything and everyone. Okay, this is who we're dealing with. Okay, this is an Iran that not long ago, through their Hezbollah proxies, blew up a Jewish center in Argentina and killed a bunch of people. This is an Iran that innovated the use of roadside bombs that killed and maimed a bunch of people, including American servicemen, but a bunch of other people. This is an Iran that has organized the assassinations and the attempted assassinations of people all over the world, including civilians and dissidents and people they don't agree with. There is no nation on earth that sponsors more terrorism than Iran, and they've spent millions and millions of dollars sponsoring terrorism and targeting individuals all over the world, and including civilians have been caught up in that. Okay, that's what Iran has done. They didn't spend their millions and millions on building roads and bridges and improving the life of their people. That's why their people are always in the street protesting, because their economy's been in shambles, because they don't invest in their economy. They would rather invest in Hezbollah. They would rather invest in the rape.
I just said that, guys. I literally just said that. I said Iran is rich, but the Islamic regime is stealing the money, and they're investing it in their terrorist proxy groups instead of on the people of Iran. And the reason the Iranian people are poor is because the Islamic regime is stealing the money and using it to fund their terrorism. Oh my gosh, I literally just said that. Guys, Marco and I, we're vibing. See, he gets it. He gets it.
That's why their people are always in the street protesting, because their economy's been in shambles, because they don't invest in their economy. They would rather invest in Hezbollah. They would rather invest in the rapists and the murderers of Hamas. They would rather invest in those groups than they do.
Wait, someone is asking, how come closed captions is not available on this video? That's because you're watching it live. It's literally impossible for me to provide closed captions when I'm live streaming. So what YouTube does is, after the live stream, they process the video and then they provide auto-generated subtitles. So YouTube can't provide live subtitles for you because I'm literally live streaming and YouTube has no idea what I'm going to say. Okay, technology has not progressed that far, and I'm not a professional TV channel, so I do apologize for that. I do apologize. So for those who are hearing impaired or have diminished hearing, you're just gonna have to wait until the live stream is over, and then you're gonna have to go back, and when the video is done processing, YouTube will provide AI generated subtitles after the live stream is over, usually within about 30 minutes to an hour or so. So you're just gonna have to wait for that. But this is not cable TV, so I don't have people who are they're typing up what is being said. So I apologize for that. All right, let's go back.
Caught up in that. Okay, that's what Iran has done. They didn't spend their millions and millions on building roads and bridges and improving the life of their people. That's why their people are always in the street protesting, because their economy's been in shambles, because they don't invest in their economy. They would rather invest in Hezbollah. They would rather invest in the rapists and the murderers of Hamas. They would rather invest in those groups than they do in their own people. That's what Iran invests in. And that's what that's what you should be asking me about. That's what the BBC should be covering. And that's what these other media outlets should be covering, is how evil these people are in Iran and the damage they've done to people all over the world. the world's leading sponsor of terrorism is Iran. And look what they're doing now. They are holding hostage civilian vessels, including ships that have now been stuck in the Persian Gulf. They've laid mines in an international waterway. And yet, despite all of that, the United States remains committed to finding a peaceful, a diplomatic solution to this crisis.
Well, not
Let's
anymore.
be clear who we're talking about here. We're not talking about some pacifist government over there, some pacifist regime. We're talking about one of the most vicious regimes on the face of the earth and in modern history. That's what we're dealing with. And we were going to take away their missiles. We were going to take away their ability to make new ones. And we were going to wipe out their Navy. Imagine if they had a real Navy. What they have now is a bunch of small little speedboats that can lay mines and harass vessels. But they used to have a Navy. Now that Navy resides at the bottom of the ocean. And that was the objective of Epic Fury. As far as the question.
There you go. Now, here is some breaking news from less than an hour ago. CNN exclusive. I mean, we'll take it with a grain of salt because it is CNN. However, it could be true. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because the Islamic regime has literally said and admitted that they are planning on rebuilding their nuclear facilities. So, CNN exclusive. New satellite imagery reveals Iran, aka the Islamic regime, may be rebuilding suspected nuclear facilities. Wow. Guys, what in the Allahu Akbar jihad is going on? Is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised?
This image, one of several shared exclusively with CNN, may show signs of Iran attempting to rebuild its nuclear.
Wait, let me make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Wait, why is this not copying? Copy video address. Okay, this is so weird. Give me a moment, guys. Sorry. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now it's coming up. All right, here we go. All right, this is bigger. There we go.
This image, one of several shared exclusively with CNN, may show signs of Iran attempting to rebuild its nuclear facilities. This is one of several locations across the country where we've identified recent activity, both at nuclear and missile sites. The activity in nuclear sites in particular raises questions as to whether Iran violated the Memorandum of Understanding it signed with the US in late June, even before President Trump seemed to signal its end this week. So for weeks, we've only got glimpses of what's been happening inside Iran. Providers have been withholding access to satellite imagery across the region at the request of the US government. But now those restrictions are loosening, and we've been analysing new imagery across Iran to see which sites they're starting to clear and repair, to give us a sense of which may be the most important. Parchin is one of them. It was struck earlier this year. Now, in new imagery from June and July, analysed by CNN in conjunction with the Institute for Science and International Security, we can see Iran seems to be taking steps to repair and reconstruct the site. Here, you can see temporary covers placed over impact holes. Then, weeks later, with the memorandum still in effect, the covers are removed and replaced with a mesh. Concrete mixing trucks are visible nearby. Experts say these trucks are a sign the Iranians are intending to seal the holes. Then there is Pickaxe Mountain, a suspected underground nuclear site. And in recent weeks, vehicles can clearly be seen going in and out of the tunnels. There's also been activity at missile bases, like this new paving in Tabriz, and at another missile base in Kermanshah, we can see excavators and tunnel entrances being cleared.
Guys, remember, none of these roads that you're seeing, like these are not public roads, okay? Like this is not like just like a random public road or highway that Iranian civilians use, right? Like these are restricted areas.
Then there is Pickaxe Mountain, a suspected underground nuclear site, and in recent weeks, vehicles can clearly be seen.
Oh, see, Gandalf is warning us. Pickaxe Mountain is very important. Yeah. Listen to us, we know.
Going in and out of the tunnels. There's also been activity at missile bases, like this new paving in Tabriz, and at another missile base in Kermanshah, we can see excavators and tunnel entrances being cleared. With the US resuming its attacks on Iran, a peace agreement is seeming increasingly out of reach.
Good. I'm glad. I don't want there to be a peace agreement. I am grateful. Good. No peace with the devils. No peace with the demons. Okay? No peace with these evil people. By the way, CNN's like, and you know what? It's wild how CNN blames the United States, right? This, like, CNN is reporting and saying, with the US resuming its attacks on Iran, okay? They're basically implying as if the United States started this. No, the United States is responding to the Islamic regime going after cargo ships in the Persian Gulf. But the reason I shared this is not because of CNN's editorial, it's because of this part where they have, like, this part is accurate, guys. This part is true, right? So you can see the Islamic regime, they're literally rebuilding their bases, okay? So they're rebuilding their bases, their tunnels, right? Like, there's a lot of construction action happening there. So this is why the Islamic regime is pushing for, oh, let's delay, let's spend more time talking, right? Because the longer they spend time talking, the more time they have to finish whatever it is they're doing here, right? Whatever secret evil plans they're going for. I don't know, whatever secret evil base they're constructing under Pickaxe Mountain or wherever else, right? So, yeah, take what CNN says with a grain of salt, but this is important here. And this is basically proof that the Islamic regime will never stop trying to acquire nuclear bombs, right? Because even now, during the MOU talks or whatever, they're literally starting to reconstruct their bases. Oh yeah. And you know what? Gandalf makes a really good point. Do you know who was the key figure behind the EMEA bombing that Secretary Rubio mentioned in Argentina? It was General Skidmark. Yes, it was Vahidi, right? So, the Argentina bombing, that's this guy. This guy is responsible for that. General Skidmark, Vahidi, okay? That's a really important point, Gandalf. Thank you for sharing that. So, there you go. That's who these people are. They're literally never going to change. They're a cancer. And speaking of cancer, oh, I closed it. Speaking of cancer, here's some more recent footage of the cancer cells in occupied Iran. This is more recent footage of the cancer cells at the death of their supreme cancer dictator. And the title says, fresh calls for President Trump's death at Khamenei funeral's final leg in Mashhad. Is there no audio? No, I guess there's no audio. Wait. Yeah, no. Okay, this video has no audio. So, guys, since it has no audio, I will add audio to this, because we always appreciate having good audio. So here you go. They're not really hiding the fact that they want to assassinate President Trump, right? And keep in mind, guys, these posters These are not like just some random person or like a private citizen printing this. These are government issued. Okay, so this is the, well, government. It's the Islamic regime who is literally printing these giant banners and posters at the state sanctioned state funeral for their dead supreme dictator, right? Like if cancer was, you know, if I had to pick one group of people to be like the human equivalent of cancer, it would be these people, like literally the Islamic regime, right? They're literally cancer. You can see this. Like this is who they are. They're never going to change. They're never going to change, right? Like this is literally who they are. And the only way that you can ever get rid of them is to exterminate them. By the way, this video kind of looks fake. Like, do you see that? Do you see how they're making the crowds look so much bigger? Like the video itself kind of looks like this is definitely like they want you to think as if like the video just goes on, like the masses just go on and on forever. I highly doubt that because I actually showed videos of this, right? Yeah, it's kind of a shame that, I mean, the United States had a missed opportunity here. That's all I'm going to say. The United States had a missed opportunity, you know, right here. Maybe not over there because that's AI generated. And guys, see, this is how you can tell. Like this is AI generated, right? Because it's such low quality and it's blurry, right? This one, the top video, because the top video is like it's like a zoomed in shot. So because it's zoomed in, they can kind of use the angles to hide how empty it is. But when they have like the you know, overhead shots, it's purposely low quality, right? Because I mean, look at this. How is it that whenever the Islamic regime does like close-up shots, the videos are always high quality? Yeah, that's Hebrew. Guys, what does that say in Hebrew? That's probably like a threat to Israel. Maybe like they're threatening Netanyahu or something. Wow. But yeah, look at this. So this is how you can tell, right? So the top video, this one is definitely real, right? Because it's zoomed in and you can't actually tell how big the crowd is. Okay? This one here, it's intentionally blurry and low quality. Okay? So this one here, right? Like why is it? This is always a case. It's always a case. So they've used AI to just make this look so much bigger than. Okay, so Hezi says it says Israel and below something unreadable. Yeah, that's the challenge because I know it's left to it's you guys read right to left like we do. So I mean, who knows what in the Allahu Akbar jihad these Durkas are saying, right? Who knows? Who knows what in the Allahu Akbar jihad? Oh, Eli is saying it seems to say something like death to the IDF. Yeah. Ugh. There we go. Yeah. Caleb says, you know, it's a country of 93 million. I feel like a couple million showing up would mean nothing. Yeah, well, you know what? That is a very good point, right? So again, less than 5%. Let's assume 5% of Iranians support the Islamic regime. You're looking at about 4.5 to 5 million people in total. Keep in mind, here, right? Like they, first of all, this is AI, but I've also showed a lot of footage where they have been importing non-Iranian Durkas from all around the world to help make the crowds look bigger, okay? To help make the crowds look bigger. However, on top of that, let me go back and share the footage from, it was when Petipto was with us. So let me pull it up here. Here you go. I think it was this one. Yeah, okay. So look at this. Look at this. So you see this. Okay, so this is the truck. This is the truck with supposedly Khamenei's coffin or whatever in it, right? And then look at this. Oh my gosh, it's like unending crowds, and you know, it's okay, it's low quality and it's blurry, but oh well, you know, that's okay because, you know, remember Arakshi said it's the most biggest funeral in the history of humanity, in the history of the world, right? So here is this low quality blurry footage that the Islamic regime is putting out. Compare that to this one. That's the same truck. Okay? Let me zoom in. That's the same truck. This is, you know, another place, but right? Oops, what's going on here? I don't want to comment. That's the same truck. Do you see that? So this is the truck. This is the truck. And this is like, you know, the, I don't know, I guess the barrier or whatever. There's like a bunch of people in white that are like surrounding the truck with Khamenei's corpse or whatever's left of it, right? You see that? What is this? Like, this is... I've had political rallies bigger than this crowd. I've literally had political rallies bigger than this crowd. So this is the truth. This is the reality. Okay, and you can tell, like, this is, you know, this is high quality image. And then this one, which is all like blurry, right? Like it's literally blurry. Look at this. Like, what is this? Right? They take the truck, and then this is like, you know, I guess, like, are these supposed to be people? Why can't we make out a single person? Why is like not even a single person visible here, right? Do you see the difference? This is how the Islamic regime fools everyone. Now, what's really, you know what I really want? You know, I haven't really asked the United States for a lot. I haven't really asked the United States or President Trump for a lot. I mean, except for, you know, booming the Islamic regime. I mean, that's one of the things we've always asked for. I would think it would be absolutely hilarious if President Trump authorized the release of Space Force satellite imagery of the United States recording the funeral processions from above. Do you remember, President Trump said Space Force, right? That the technology is so good that even from space, they are able to zoom in on, like, you know, even someone's name tag. And that's when he made like the Muhammad something comment, which we still haven't watched that video, which I want to get to because that is hilarious. So President Trump knows exactly how many people attended in the different cities, you know, the sizes, the locations, all of that. I think it would be hilarious if, let's say, President Trump or Space Force or someone, let's say, took this video that the Islamic regime has put out and, you know, compared it with, let's say, American satellite imagery of that same exact procession, right? And this is the other thing. This is why these sorts of AI generated, you know, false images or whatever, this might fool people who don't know much about Iran. This might fool, you know, the Democrats or, you know, the Durka supporters. They're all claiming, oh my gosh, every single Iranian supports the Islamic regime. Like, they might fool people who don't know. But President Trump is not fooled, right? The American administration is not fooled because they look at this, they know exactly what this is. Like, this is obviously AI generated. Like, this is very well possibly real. But all these crowds, like, this is just, why is it such low quality? Why is it such low quality? When they obviously have the capability to have high quality videos and images. So whenever you see, guys, whenever you see a blurry video like this of Iranian, Islamic regime or Iranian crowds, take it with a grain of salt, right? If you see blurry video footage like this, yeah, that's when like your red flags should go off and be like, huh, why is the government sharing blurry footage of the official funeral ceremonies of their dead supreme dictator? Wouldn't you think they would at least invest a little bit into I don't know, some proper cameras, right? Think about that. Look at this. Just look at the way the bottom crowd is moving. See, like, guys, this one here, okay, like this image, this one, absolutely, this is real. But look at this. Do you see all the gaps in the road? Like, here, I want to zoom in. See? Do you see how here there's so much space in between the crowds, right? Look at that. And then even here, like, literally, when you compare the top video to the bottom, right? The top video, look at this. Look at all the space. And this is like a cropped, zoomed in, right? That's cropped and that's zoomed in. So you don't actually see how big the crowd is, because the Islamic regime doesn't want you to know that it's such a small crowd. But they will then put that with this image here, so that your brain, right, your brain will automatically assume, oh, okay, well, this is probably just like a zoomed up portion of this. Oh my gosh, look how big the crowds are. But when you actually pay attention to the details, this is a lot of space in between people. Where's the space at the bottom? Where's it? Like, even here, look at this. Look at the roads, right? Like, this is not very well populated, right? You can even see the lines on the roads there, right? But yet in this video at the bottom, it's like nothing, right? It's literally like just blurry ants together. So there you go. There you go. Don't be fooled by the crowd sizes, guys. And someone made a very good point and comment as well. Even if the crowd sizes are big, first of all, half of them are not Iranian, they're imported. And of course, remember, about 3 to 5% of the population supports the Islamic regime. So you're still looking at about, anywhere between 3 million to 5 million. And remember, this 3 million to 5 million, they're the ones who are murdering the other 95% of Iranians, because this 3 to 5 million, they're the ones with the weapons and the guns, and they're the Durka occupiers. So that was that footage. And of course, let's go to Goldie buff, guys. So now we're going to talk about this Durka for a little bit. This one, right? Remember, so he is under a lot of pressure right now by the Islamic regime and their supporters, because he is seen as supposedly behind this plot to overthrow the cardboard supreme dictator and to take over as the new supreme leader, or whatever, right? Anyways, so he is now trying to save his own rear end from the regime. So apparently Ghalibaf is now quoted as, he was meeting with, where's this guy? Oh my gosh, I want to say, like, what is he, like, Indonesia, Bangladesh? I don't even know which country this is from. Who's this guy? I know it's like some random country, but it's like, I think it's like some like South Asian country, right? I don't know. I can't keep track of all the leaders of the South Asian countries, but I don't know. He looks like from somewhere there. We can find out who he was. Oh, it is Indonesia. Okay, it is Indonesia. All right. Okay, so oh my gosh, I was right. There you go. I kind of guessed. I was like, is it Indonesia? All right, so it is Indonesia. There we go. I thought I recognized the hat there. So, okay, so Ghalibaf is in Indonesia, and he's saying, in my view, first of all, Indonesia, really? Okay. He says, in my view, only those who are prepared for war can negotiate with the United States. Before the recent war, the United States, the Zionist regime, and NATO believed they could force Iran to surrender within just a few days. However, they soon realized they would not achieve their objectives. Imagine how much he must be freaking out that you literally go to Indonesia of all places to try and make yourself feel relevant, and then you go to Indonesia and you're basically trash talking the United States and Israel to the Indonesian government to make yourself feel better. Wow. Great job, Ghalibaf. I'm sure that's going to make you very relevant. Anyways, absolutely insane. Literally insane people. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is what it was. So he was speaking during a meeting with Indonesian People's Consultative Assembly Speaker Ahmad Muzani. Ghalibaf said he told U.S. Vice President. So basically he's saying he told J.D. Vance during negotiations that Tehran had no trust in Washington. Wow. Talk about like gaslighting 101. Gaslighting 101. It's us. We don't trust the Islamic regime. The Islamic regime is the ones who have been lying for 47 years. The Islamic regime started chanting death to America in 1979 after Jimmy Carter and the Democrats helped them get to power. Okay? This is what I don't understand. Like, this is how stupid these people are. Jimmy Carter and the Democrats literally helped their Muslim pedophile leader, Khomeini, come to power in 1979. And as soon as the Durkas came to power, they literally turned around and said, death to America. And yet somehow it's the United States that shouldn't be trusted. Well, I mean, again, if I was in the Islamic regime's shoes, I would be very scared as well. Ghalibaf said Iran had never abandoned its defense preparedness and would stand firmly against the United States if it betrayed the agreement. There is no agreement. There is no agreement. And MOU is pretty much over, right? President Trump said it's over. And he also continued. The US, Israel, and NATO had failed to force Iran into surrender, adding that the conflict would not end with Iran giving in. So this is important, guys. For these Durka jihadis, the only language they understand is power. And remember, I told you guys, these Durkas, they measure success in terms of survival. So every day that the Islamic regime lasts, they view that as success, okay? Because they have survived another day to export their jihad around the world. So even though any normal, rational, logical person would look at Iran, look at the Islamic regime and say, your navy is gone, your military is gone, your air defense is gone, you're literally scrambling, you have no way to defend yourselves against any sort of attack, you've pretty much lost, okay? That's what any normal, rational, sane person would say. Remember, the Islamic regime, they're not a normal, rational, sane, logical anything. They are literally 7th century inbred jihadi terrorists. So for their mindset, okay, so, I'm going to put you guys in the shoes of a Durka, just for a few moments, not for too long. But in the minds of the Durkas, even though Khomeini is dead, even though their top IRGC commanders are dead, even though the Navy is gone, the military is destroyed, the Air Force is gone, okay? They are still calling this a victory because the victory is that they survived. And even though any normal, rational, logical, sane person would obviously understand that, President Trump didn't initiate the ceasefire because he thought that he can't beat the Islamic regime. President Trump initiated ceasefire for several reasons. Now we know that JD Vance was one of those people who was pushing for more talks, right? Okay, fine, whatever. But the fact that the United States agreed to the Islamic regime's request for ceasefire, do you think the Islamic regime is going to turn around and be like, "Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump"? No. Okay, guys, you can come out of the Durka mode now. You can come out of the Durka shoes. It was only momentarily. It was only momentary. We're now back in our regular shoes. So the fact that President Trump agreed to a ceasefire, any normal, rational, logical, sane person would be like, wow, like President Trump is giving these terrorists a chance to shape up, right? But the terrorists don't see it that way. Instead, what they see is, oh, the United States is afraid of us. We are a big power, right? So there you go. This is the lesson you have to learn. These people will never change, right? Like their ideology, their mindset, everything about them is absolute utter garbage, right? Like President Trump is right. They're scum. They're cancer. Again, in 1979, when Jimmy Carter helped them get to power, they immediately turned around, started chanting "Death to America," and they took American hostages and held them for 444 days. That was in 1979. Today, in 2026, President Trump agrees to a ceasefire so they can work on this MOU. And then what do the Muslim Nazi Durkas do? They immediately turn around and they print giant posters saying, "We will kill Trump." Not much has changed since 1979, has it? There is a lesson to be learned here. And I hope that you guys, if there's one key takeaway that you get from today's episode of Iran Revolution Live, is that these Muslim Nazis will never change. Once a Nazi, always a Nazi. Once a terrorist, always a terrorist. They showed their true colors in 1979, and they have never changed. If anything, they've gotten more insane, more intense, right? Like they're openly printing out banners calling for President Trump's extermination, and Ghalibaf is prancing around in Indonesia, of all places, as if Indonesia has any say in anything that goes on. But Ghalibaf is prancing around in Indonesia and being like, "Oh yeah, the United States and Israel, they're afraid of us. The United States and Israel surrendered to us because they knew that we were going to destroy them." Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is why we've always said, not just me, but, of course, His Royal Highness. And let me pull up His Royal Highness. Oh, but you know what? Before we go to that, I want to, because I have been meaning, so, okay, guys, I've been speaking a lot about, like the Khamenei's funeral and, the politics and all that, because there's been a lot going on. But I have a very fun live stream scheduled for all of you tonight, okay? And you don't want to miss it. Because I've spoken a lot about, what the Durkas have been doing, and, I've spoken a lot about what the Durkas are doing, and, of course, with all the American attacks and things like that. I've spoken a little bit about Iranians and occupied Iran, but I haven't really shared a lot of footage of how Iranians who are against the Islamic regime have been responding to Khamenei's funeral. And of course, we just finished the global week of action that was issued by His Royal Highness on July 4th to coincide with the beginning of Khamenei's funeral. So tonight, I'm going to share with you a lot of footage from Iranians around the world. You know, it's Friday. It's going to be Friday night, so we're going to have a little bit more of a fun themed topic. A little bit more lighthearted. Of course, we're going to be keeping an eye on all the news as well. But I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of what you guys can expect to see. So this is these are Iranians in Spain, and they are holding you know, a funeral ceremony for Khamenei, coinciding with his funeral ceremony. So as you can see, this is Khamenei's coffin, I guess, and there's his, you know, devil head and horns peeking out. And then this one is like wearing the face of Ghalibaf, right? So one of the casket bearers is apparently Ghalibaf. Oh, look, that's Pezeshkian, guys. This one's Pezeshkian. Oh, this is so funny. Guys, so if we go to our Boom Boom Bingo sheet, right? So one of them has a mask of Ghalibaf, and then the other one is Pezeshkian. I'm sure there's probably Arakchi there as well, but let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, that's Arakchi.
You are done.
And then so the song they're playing is like, it's like a happy song. It's basically like Hala miraksim zir nur khorshid. So it's like, now we're gonna dance under the light of the sun. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm telling you, this is just a sneak peek. I have like at least 100 links of Iranians from around the world, who have not only taken up the call for the global week of action for free Iran. However, the sense of humor is next level. So you guys definitely want to tune in tonight. It's going to be a bit more casual, but it's going to be a lot of fun because I haven't even had time to talk about this, and I've really wanted to share all of this with you. And there are, you know, I only have like maybe 100, 150 links. I don't know if I can share them all, but we need, you know what? We need a little bit of cheering up, right? It can't all be doom and gloom. So we are all going to celebrate Khamenei's funeral tonight. I'm going to have to like find, I don't know, maybe I'll get myself some more bacon wrapped scallops or something. And I don't know, I might even pour myself like a glass of wine or something. What time? Okay, so it's 5 o'clock right now. Let's say probably like 7:30. So 2.5 hours from now. As soon as I'm done this, I'm going to set up the live stream for later tonight. I would say probably like maybe 3 hours. Guys, I was really good today. I did like all my chores. I'm almost done my laundry. So, you know, it's been a really good day. It's been a really, really good day. And of course, you know, what made my day absolutely amazing was waking up to this message from President Trump. So, yeah, you know, it's a good day. We're having a good day. We're having a good day. Having a really good day. So we're going to be watching footage of Khamenei's, of how Iranians have been celebrating and, you know, mocking Khamenei. And, you know, you're going to get the, you know, deep dive into Iranian sense of humor. And of course, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the boom booms as well, because who knows what's going to be happening later tonight. All right, guys. And of course, this was all in response to the call from His Royal Highness Reza Shah II. Let me pull him up for you guys as well. Because we can't have an episode of Iran Revolution Live without, of course, speaking about the leader of Iran's National Lion and Sun Revolution, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. So here he is. And he was actually, look at this. So he posted a few days ago. Oh, I missed this because I was away. So he says, I want to thank the Committee on Foreign Affairs of the Dutch House of Representatives for inviting me to speak today on behalf of millions of my compatriots fighting for liberty, justice, and democracy. I am grateful to the Dutch police and parliamentary security services for their professionalism, assistance, and protection. My heartfelt thanks also go to our Iranian compatriots who gathered respectfully outside Parliament to stand with the people of Iran. The message I brought to The Hague was simple. The plight of the Iranian people must become the driving focus of international policy on Iran. Empowering them, not emboldening this regime, will bring lasting peace and stability. And of course, there is the Shah of Iran, His Royal Highness Reza Shah II. There you go. Meeting with some Dutch parliamentarians. Okay, let me go to your questions and comments before I finish off today. And then we'll see you guys later. So Amir gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Tread says, be sure to hit the like on your way in with the American flag. Love that. Thank you. God bless America. John Bond gifted memberships. Thank you so much, John. Tread says, what help do you think Trump will be able to get directly or indirectly from President Ahmad Hussein al-Shara? Absolutely nothing. I mean, are you asking like with respect to Iran? Oh, we don't want anything to do with them. No, we don't want anything to do with al-Qaeda terrorists. So Syria is its own mess. Good luck to the Syrian people. Wish you guys all the best, but there's absolutely nothing that they could do or that we even want them to do. We're trying to get rid of the Durkas in our country. We don't want other Durkas coming in. Like we want to get rid of the Durkas that are already in our country. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest help that Ahmed al-Shara could do, like Jelani, the biggest help that Jelani could do, I guess, would be to like take all the Durkas that are escaping Iran, right? And I mean, if he wants to take them in, but he won't take them in because they're opposite, right? Because the Islamic regime supported Bashar al-Assad, and Jelani is against Bashar al-Assad. Because, anyways, that's like game of Durka, right? You know what? That's actually a really good question for maybe Josim. So next week when Josim joins us, we're figuring out a time. So I'm trying to see what time, what day, what time works for him. Because I kind of want him to be like a regular guest on Iran Revolution Live. Have him come in, maybe like once a week to give us the Arab perspective of what's happening in the Middle East, right? So that's definitely something he can answer a little bit more about what President Trump sees in al-Shara. Well, I don't know, man. Tread gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. 5 memberships. Thank you so much. William Mongrain says, I wonder if I could get a job at Tusi Tavern if I learned Farsi. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll have to ask Tusi. But I mean, the vast majority of Iranians speak English, right? Like, don't pay attention to the Durkas. The Durkas that are currently controlling occupied Iran, they don't speak English because they have the IQ level of, like, it's basically the IQ level of a goldfish, right? Like their IQ level, if they're lucky, it's maybe like 10 or something. Anyway, so and Petipto, like Petipto's been here And Petito is in Iran, and he speaks fluent English. So I would say like the vast majority of Iranians understand English, and many of them can speak it. Many of us can speak, well, Iranians in Iran, they can speak it, right? So, there are, older people, let's say. So, I would say once you get to like the age of like, maybe age 50 and over, it's about 50-50 whether they can speak English or not. But pretty much anyone under the age of 50 can understand English. If maybe not, maybe they might not be comfortable speaking it as much, but they could definitely. So like guys, like anyone could get by in Iran speaking English. Like you're not going to have any issues there. But I don't know, you'd have to ask him. I'm not responsible for Tusi's upcoming British pub tavern in Tehran in a free Iran. Good question though. Mel Catwoman. We all love you, Goldie and Iran. Thank you so much, Mel. Member for 6 months. Freedom for Iran, Javicha. Thank you so much, Mel. Really appreciate that. You're always so kind. We Iranians, we love you, and we love America and Israel, and we love everyone. We don't like terrorists. If you're a terrorist, we don't like you. Everyone else, we love. God bless America. Tread gifted memberships. Thank you so much. William Mongrain, member for 5 months, says, I call him Zombie Numb Dummy. Oh my gosh, that's actually a pretty good nickname for him. Wow. Zombie Numb Dummy. I kind of like that. Wow. Candace became a new member. Wow, welcome. Welcome to Goldie's Gang, Candace. Thank you for your support. And then Roy Napora says, hair is beautiful. Oh, thank you. I mean, it's even worse than yesterday, but I'm glad you guys like it. It's just the weather outside is crazy. I literally tried to straighten my hair, and the frizz, just the humidity makes it all frizzy. But thank you, appreciate that. Trump has no choice but to kill off the IRGC now that they put a bounty on his head. They hasten their own demise. I mean, I hope so. I hope he sees that. I mean, I think he's seeing that because all these posters and signs and everything, right? Christy Johnson. Just received my Lion and Sun flag, all ready to fly it with my American flag when Iran is free. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Guys, you know what? Actually, so I do have Lion and Sun flags on, my merch store, but they're just like, kind of like the printed and stuff like that. It's not like the high quality ones. If you've noticed, I actually have a new Lion and Sun flag with the crown, right? And okay, you know what? I have to show this to you guys. You know what? I'll show it to you later. But this is basically like it's embroidered. It's literally embroidered, and it's from this company in the United States. Now, their flags are way more expensive, right? Because this is literally, it's embroidered, and it's not printed, right? So I just have the printed ones, but like their flags, oh my gosh, like it's just, okay, I can't bring it down right now. I will, you know what I'll do? I'll bring it down, maybe for like my next live stream, I'll bring it down and then I'll put it back up or something. But, if you guys are interested, I mean, those ones are definitely expensive. Like we're talking like, $200, $300, but it's like, if you want like a high quality flag, it's so worth it. And, you know what, I'll speak with them, and maybe they might be willing to, give like the viewers from my channel, my community, maybe like they're willing to do like a discount or something. Right. So yeah, like I'll talk to them. And if you guys are interested in like I love the flags that I sell in my merch store. Like they're amazing, and I have them, and I love them. But if you want like the authentic like embroidered ones, like that's a whole other thing. But I'm so happy that you're supporting my merch store, and I love that. I love the fact that you are ready to fly it with your American flag. I have my American flag right next to me as well, guys. Look at this. So let me just grab my American flag here. So I always have my giant American flag, which I always keep next to me, next to my Iran lion and sun flag as well. And I also have the flag of Israel as well. So I have the trifecta. I have the trifecta. So there you go. And you know, once in a while, I like wearing the American flag around my shoulders. You guys have a very beautiful flag too. William Mongrain, Goldie, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. And then Mo Kyle, YouTube never lets me write what I want to. I know YouTube has that problem for some reason. I don't know why. YouTube is weird that way. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, and then there was also a Rumble chat. I'm also seeing there's some sort of issue on Rumble. You know, okay, guys. All right, let me see if I can fix this issue on Rumble really quickly. So apparently someone was accidentally banned on Rumble. I don't know how. Okay, guys. So for everyone who's watching on Rumble, let's see if we can fix this, guys. Count settings, moderators, muting. Oh, okay, guys, unmute. Okay, Rumble peeps, I think I fixed the problem. Someone reach out to the person. I think I unmuted them. Oh, they're back. They're back. They're back. There we go. Oh no, Mega, Catherine, you were banned on YouTube. I'm so sorry. Send me. You know what it is? It's sometimes the mods, like, they will, you know, they mean to click on one person, but then they accidentally click on someone else because the chat is moving too quickly. So it happens once in a while by mistake. So Mega, Catherine, I'm really sorry to hear that. Let me know. Send me like the URL. Guys, we're literally like, we're troubleshooting. We're troubleshooting YouTube and, you know, some things like that. Yeah, like it honestly, it happens sometimes. I think it's just, you know what it is? The chat scrolls by so quickly, and it sucks that way. But Mega Catherine, if you can please send me the URL to your YouTube account here, and then I will see afterwards if I can fix that on the YouTube side. So yeah, it's just like a chat thing, unfortunately. So it's not like, usually the majority of the time it's not like a malicious thing or whatever. So anyways, Red Pill is back. Oh no, yeah, see, exactly. Casualty of friendly fire. There you go. Unfortunately. So there you go. But anyways, we fixed it. We're fixing the problem. So all right, guys. So that was that. That was pretty much the end. We went through all the super chats, and you guys were. Oh, how do you send it? Just send it right here in the chat. Just send me the URL to your like YouTube account. Oh, you were also muted on Rumble? Okay, let me find you. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh no. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Let me just do this really quick before I forget. Oh, I see you. Okay. Were you misbehaving? Guys, don't misbehave. Don't misbehave, guys. There we go. Okay. I think I fixed it all. Yeah, Catherine, send me the link while you can because I'm going to end the live stream soon. So you have about like 5 minutes to post the link in the YouTube banner. Oh no, I don't. So my Discord isn't run by me. Discord is run by some mods, and Discord has very strict rules. So the Discord community was made as sort of like an after community. I don't get involved with that because they have been running the show. And I trust everything that they do. So, guys, you have to follow the rules on Discord. Discord is just, you have to follow the rules. Anyways, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. And I will see you guys in about, let's say, 2.5 to 3 hours for tonight's edition of the Goldie Show, where we are going to have a chill and casual watch party, and we're going to watch all the footage of Iranians celebrating around the world the death of the supreme dictator Ali Khamenei. Until then, I'm Israel Chai. God bless America. Javid Shah and Payande Iran. I'll see you guys soon.
غرق انقلاب است. کشور ما، تاریخ ما در سیدگر فرا گرفته، گویی اهورا مستا دوباره در نور خود مرا گرفته. اکنون سرودی سر میدهم باز فارغ از رنج و تشویش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. هن ای پدر، هن ای پسر، برخیز و با ما شو همگام. درد آن تجربه تلخ ما را نکشیده در پا. بگذار هر دم بغرند گرگ‌ها دم لباس میش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ای کارگر، ای برزگر، راحت کنون ادامه دارد. در این زمان که پرتو یزدان از هر سو بر تو میبارد. پس پیش به سوی آزادی از بحر خزر تا کیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. خلق‌ها به پا بهر دفاع از استقلال و آزادی، تا بشکنیم پشت ارتجاع تیریزی ویران آبادی. تا زنده سازیم سنت‌های می از بر آیین و کیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. با امید روزی که تمام این دلبشو انقلاب تموم بشه و ما در روشنایی، نور و سعادت مردم کشورمون غرق بشیم. نه خارجی، نه بیگانه، نه مستشارهای ویرانی، نه چیر خاران، نه کاسلیسان، فقط هم رزمان ایرانی. تا با شرافت میهنی بسازی بهر فرزندان خویش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. مردان داخل صف ما اکنون که آغاز رویاست. دشمنان بدانید ما زنده هستیم، بعد از ما هم ایران پابرجاست. آن روح شیطان ما را فریب داد با صد شعار مردمی. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. پرچم ما پرچم ایران غرق خون شهیدان، روی شانه هامان هم میکنیمش در هر خیابان و میدان. تا ماسک دلقکان را برداریم از روی تسبیح و ریش،